Hi, everybody. It's Dan Cerrucci, and I'm live here with my friend Ankush Bhandari. Did I say your name right, Ankush?
That's absolutely correct.
Ankush Bhandari. And the first thing I'm going to do, like I do with these programs, is I'm going to check to make sure that I'm live on Facebook, and then I'm going to put it. I'm going to put it on. Oh, yes, there we are. We're live on Facebook. We're already 23 minutes into this, and we're live on Facebook. And I'm going to put this on open to the public so that anybody can see it. And then Ankush, you'll be able to go in to my Facebook page and share it onto your Facebook page.
I will do that after the.
Okay.
Yep.
And I also want to check that we're live on.
YouTube.
No, we can't be. We're live. Yes, we are live on my YouTube channel. We
Yep.
are live on my YouTube channel, but I want to make sure we're also live on LinkedIn.
Okay. I didn't know that you are also on LinkedIn, Dan.
And yes, we are live on LinkedIn as well. So that looks very good. So let me go back here. We can't be live on X because he doesn't allow you to go live on X. I'm talking about Elon Musk, unless you have that blue check mark, like you're a premium member, and I'm not a premium member. So
Okay.
anyway, Ankush, here we are. We're live, and I wanted to talk to you tonight because you're from India. You're a person of Indian descent, and it seems like all of a sudden, though I know this didn't happen all of a sudden, but it seems that way.
Right.
People of Indian descent are in the forefront in our country. We have the first Indian American vice president, possibly president.
Hopefully not.
He says, hopefully not. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Keep your finger crossed.
We have the first vice presidential candidate who's married to an Indian American. Okay. And that being J.D. Vance.
Yeah, JD Vance and
We
is
we have we have that President Bush considered for his vice presidency, and was his leading the person who came closest to him in the primaries, uh, another Indian American woman. Okay. Um, and we had uh, Vivek Ramaswamy
Swami.
as a major contender uh, for the presidency and a possible member of Trump's cabinet. So
Yes.
I've just right like that.
And one thing you forget, one name you forget, Tulsi Gabbard.
To what?
Tulsi, Tulsi Gabbard, who was a Congress woman from Hawaii.
Oh, okay. I'm not familiar with her.
Tulsi, you know
Oh,
Tulsi
oh,
Gabbard.
oh, oh, there we go. Chelsea Gabbard.
Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard. She
Gabbard
was
or Gabbard.
we call him Gabar, but it's okay if you call Gabbard. I don't know how to pronounce her name, but I'm sorry if I mispronounce it. But Tulsi is also the Indian American woman who was a ex congresswoman from Hawaii.
It was she from Hawaii?
Yeah, she was from Hawaii.
Chelsea Gabbard. I'm sorry, I forgot her. That's five. That's five people. It's like right up at the very top. Okay. So I have to ask you, Ankush, what is it about people of Indian descent? Are they just overachievers or what?
First of all, thank you, Dan, for again inviting me to your channel. We have spoken earlier uh, twice, I think, on your channel. So, coming to your question, that what makes my community to go to the highest level within last 20 to 30 years? People are here, right?
Right.
So, yeah, if you see the main migration or the highest number of migration was done after mid 80s till early 2000. So in those 20 years there's a lot of migration which came, but prior to that also people migrated in few numbers like in 60s and 70s, and they were called the first generation here, and now the second generation has come up. Like if you see Vivek Ramaswamy, his parents came from India and he is the second generation here. Similar is the case with Dulcie Gabbard, right? Her parents moved here and then she was born and she became the second generation. Same is the case with the vice president. We call Kamala Harris, but here in America they call Kamala Harris. So I'm okay with calling her Kamala Harris. Okay. So Kamala Harris is also the second generation born here because her mother migrated from India in the early 60s and she was born then, or maybe early 50s or something like that. So one thing I think I have also told you earlier in your channel, on your channel, in one of the episode we did, was the Hindu families are very much into culturally oriented, valued families. So the values are always at the top and the culture is always at the top. No compromise on that, you know.
There's no compromise on it.
No, no compromise on that, because we were already told that if you study hard, this time of 5 to 10 years, like when you go to the high school till you graduate, or you do you do your post graduation, this comprises of approximately 8 to 10 years, like 15, 16 years you are a child is when he's in high school, till he pass out and look for a job, maybe 24, 25, 26 years, right? So if you work hard in this 10 years of period, you will have a better life, a better standard. You will give back to the community. You give back to your country. You can give back to your family, because you have done enough and your parents has done enough for you, that you can stand high and say, I am so and so, a graduate from this university, and now I'm working in this firm or company or whatever, you know.
So, but it also, Ankush, the idea of giving back is instilled from an early age. This is very important.
Yes, because we always consider, means when we were growing up, like you read Bibles, we read Bhagavad Gita. That's our this thing Bhagavad Gita. I think now most of the management schools have also started Bhagavad Gita as a management book, because it teaches a lot of how to manage your life.
Okay.
Yeah.
How to
So we
conduct
always,
your life.
yeah. So how, so the only thing is that when you manage yourself, you manage your family well, you
Yes.
manage your company well, or wherever you work, your co-workers well, right? You manage as a community well, and also on the top of it, you can manage very well your state or your country, right? So we always believe in Vasudev Kutumbakam, that the whole universe is one family.
Is this a Hindu thing?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a very powerful Hindu thing.
Yes, and there are a lot of verses. Means your viewers will not understand that if I speak in Sanskrit, the language they are written in. But in short, I can say that we always believe that for us, mother and the motherland is not less than a heaven.
Okay.
That's why many time when I post, like in Olympic, I was very happy the day America won the gold medal, and India won the bronze medal. So I said, I'm very proud. Today is the most proud moment for me. My both motherland land people win, open their accounts and they won the medals in Olympic, right? And
Okay,
then people said, why did you call America as a motherland? I said, see, I was born in India. I was raised in India. I get all my education in India. That's my motherland first. When I came to America, America gave me identity. It's give me the clothes on my body. It's give me the roof on my head. It's give me the food on my table. And
right.
on top of it, it give me the identity. When I go outside, or when I visit Canada, or when I visit Dubai or any other place, even back home to India, then people say, "Hey, how is America doing?" You know,
So America's been very good to you.
this country identity. You know what I mean? So so that's very important, and that's what is taught in our Hindu culture. You are represented by your identity, and never ever be a traitor to anybody, especially to your motherland.
Okay, so now this brings me to the whole notion of um, here's something that has impressed me about people in America of Indian descent. They are able to keep their heritage, their strong Indian heritage, while, while assimilating quite thoroughly into the broader society, into American society.
Right.
They they fit in, they weave in, they assimilate very quickly and quite thoroughly, but they keep their connection to their heritage, but it's not in your face.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, yeah, see, I will give you an example. Like, if you mix water in milk, did the milk lose its quality? No.
No.
Did the milk lose its color? No. Did the milk lose its value? No. So we are brought up like this. Wherever you go, accept them with your open hand. If you accept them, they will accept you. Like, I have met you a couple of times in New Jersey GOP meetings and conventions and all those, right?
Yes, that's how we met. We met at a New Jersey Republican gathering.
Yeah. So that's how we met, right? And we spoke. Did you feel that I don't feel that I am in a I'm speaking to a foreigner, or I'm speaking to another person which is not of my color, or my heritage, or my values. This is the reason people ask me that why you have so much doctors and engineers. You have taken over, like you have just have a tsunami of them in America, right? So I said that's what we are always raised. Work hard, give back to the society. Whatever you will do will reflect in your work.
And make friends with people.
Yes. Unless I don't make friends in my in my firm, how can I work there?
Okay.
And this is a symbiosis relation.
But now this brings us to Kamala Harris. Okay. Um, now wait a minute. You froze there for a minute. Okay. This brings us to Kamala Harris. Here we have a situation of a multiracial person.
Yes.
Um, and I posed the question because this came up in comments from President Trump last week, but apparently it was a question and it has come up before about
Yes.
Kamala Harris.
Yes.
Is she is her mother is a person of Indian descent. Her
Right.
father was from Jamaica.
Jamaican.
She
Yes.
identifies, however, very strongly as African American.
Yes.
Now, how do people of Indian descent feel about this?
That's a very nice and a tricky question. In 2020, when the elections were going to held, I was invited by my community to attend a meeting with Joe Biden and Miss Harris.
Okay.
We were a couple of, I think, not more than 100 people all over US at that time. And I attended that meeting, and she opened up, oh, I have gone to India, my mother is an Indian, I belong to Hindu heritage, I have eaten chickis a lot. Chikki is a type of what you call a dessert in India, okay, South Indian dessert. Oh, I have eaten a chickis a lot, I'm a chicky girl, I'm a chicky woman, I eat idlis and dosas. Okay, let's cut to the chase. Are you How do you identify yourself? That time I did a little research on her, that what she has spoken of herself when she has contested elections before 2020, whether for the district attorney of San Francisco or for the attorney general of California state. And also I want to tell to your viewers one important thing. In 19 in sorry in 2019, she wrote an autobiography, The Truth We Hold. She said, I am raised by an Indian mother with an appreciation of Indian culture, cooking for her daughters Indian food, giving them the Indian jewelry, and taking them on trips abroad to visit extended family. Good. Then she wrote, it's very important to understand that my mother was also keenly aware that the world would perceive her and her sister, means Miss Harris and her sister, as black women. What? As black women. First and foremost. She further wrote, my mother understood very well that she was raising two black daughters. I repeat, she was raising two black daughters. She knew that her adopted homeland, she called America as adopted homeland, not a homeland.
This is the mother.
Yes,
Okay. The mother called America her adopted homeland. Go ahead.
and would see Maya and me, Maya is her sister's name, Maya and me as black girls. And she was determined to make sure we grow into a confident, proud black woman. I hope you get that point.
Well, I think, I
That's her
do get the
biography.
point.
I
No,
have
I
not
do
written.
get the point. I do get the point. I think this is a problem for multiracial people in America who are partially of African heritage. I'm saying African heritage. She's actually of Jamaican heritage. And there's also some question of whether or not Jamaican heritage is really African heritage.
Right.
Okay. Because Jamaica is a place where there are a large number of multiracial people. Again,
Yes.
people of mixed race.
Exactly.
Okay,
100%.
mixed race. There's a huge French influence there,
Yep.
among other things. It was an island that people came from different places and intermingled, similar in some ways to Hawaii. Okay.
Yes.
So I think that this becomes a problem in America for people of mixed race, or at least for a long time, it was a problem. I'm not sure it is as much of a problem as it used to be because now as there is more intermingling of the races in our country, and by the way, Ankush, I happen to feel that this is the way America's racial problems are going to end, are going to be solved. Eventually,
And
there will be
exactly,
a mixture of the races in
exactly. You
this
are absolutely
country,
right
and
on that.
everybody will be multiracial. Okay? That's the way I think the racial problems in this country are eventually going to end. I'm not going to be here for it because it's going to happen after I'm gone. It's good. It may take a couple more generations or more, but there's going to be in America a pretty thorough intermingling of the races, and everybody, or nearly everybody, or the majority of people are going to look multiracial.
Yes, there is also a report I read that by 2060, the multicultural, the multiracial people will have we will have more multiracial and multicultural people, families, I will say, not people, families, than of a single race and a single culture.
Okay.
By
So what
2060, it will be three times, in fact. The report
So
said,
what so what then would be the point? What would be the point of forcing them to identify with one or the other? But I think the mother in this case, going back however many years, she's almost 60 years old, right, Kamala?
yeah, she's 59 going to 60, I suppose. Yep.
No, I think she's 59, right?
Yeah,
Yes, 59. Okay, so we're going back quite a while. You're going back quite a while. So the mother probably figured, well, since these little girls are half black, quote unquote black, though the father apparently was a light skinned black person,
right,
okay, but she figured since these little girls are half black and they have some sort of black features,
right.
people are going to see them as black, so I might as well raise them as black.
Yeah. And to one point on this, let me tell you what Kamala, during her interview to Washington Post, I'm not saying this, this is her interview with the Washington Post. Let me give you one excerpt from there, okay? What she said in 2019 when she was interviewed by Washington Post. That's her words. When I first ran for office, she's referring 2003 when she ran for the district attorney in San Francisco. When I first ran for office, that was one of the things I struggled with, which
Mhm.
is that you are forced through that process to define yourself in a way that you fit neatly into the compartment that people have created.
I have to tell you that I once worked for a multiracial person. Um, he had advanced tremendously in his career, and he was about to assume a very important post. And I was doing publicity for him.
Okay,
And it was at around the same time that the term African American came into use,
okay,
because for a long time, uh, the the term was black people.
black, okay,
Starting like in the 1960s in this country, the term black people came into vogue. But then around about, I'm going to say the beginning of the late 80s, the early 90s, this term African American came into use. And so his mother was African American, his father was, excuse me, his mother was white, his father was African American. And I said to him, how do you want me to reference you in the news release that I'm writing about you?
hmm,
And he said, well, I consider myself a person of color.
okay,
But at that time, the term person of color had not been generally accepted.
okay,
And I don't even know that it is now.
okay.
because there's a lot of pressure on people to identify themselves one way or another.
Yep.
So so I said to him, well, this other term is coming into use, African American. And so we decided to go with that. But
Okay.
but when we told his story to the public,
Mm-hmm.
and he wanted to credit his mother because he was his father, I guess, abandoned the family, and he was largely raised by the mother. Um, he had to he had to acknowledge that his mother was white.
Okay.
So this was the dilemma. But again, this was quite a number of years ago. This was okay, like 30 years ago,
Yeah.
more than
But
30 years
now,
ago.
but now with this liberalism and wokeism and all those, the things which are going around here, now the things are entirely different. We are living in an entirely different society now, right? When I was
Right.
growing up in 80s and 90s, it was a different ball game. And now it's a different story, altogether a different story.
Right. So, I mean, it's no big deal now for somebody to say I'm biracial or I'm multiracial or who cares? You can, you know, in fact, on a lot of things now where you're asked to check off your race, there is an option for multiracial now, I believe.
If you also apply for the positions and all those in most of the companies' website for jobs and career, you can find okay which race you belong to. I think the time is not far off, or which ethnicity you are, right? The time is not far off when these columns will be off the application forms, because people don't
Well,
want to answer that anymore.
yeah, because I mean, affirmative action has been around, I think, more than 50 years.
Yep.
Affirmative action,
Yep.
affirmative action. I mean, how long are we going to do this? You
Exactly.
know, the
Exactly.
Supreme Court has begun chipping away at it. They've
Yep.
begun chipping away at it.
Yep.
And do we if we don't care about race, why are we concerned about how we racially identify ourselves?
And as I don't know if you have heard President Trump in one of the interviews. I think it was with the ABC or with whom. He said, "I don't care what color skin you have. Every person of the color, white, black, brown, or whatever you want to say, mixture colored, have worked for me when I was the working as a CEO. And it's only the thing which matter is the blood. The color of the blood is red in every human being. The skin color can be different. I may be white, you may be more white than me, and she may be less white than me, but still we three are considered as white,
Right,
right?
right.
So there's, as you mentioned, like Kamala is light black, some may be more black, some may be deep black, same is the color with brown, some are light brown, some are dark brown, some are very dark brown, right? So still they are under one umbrella.
And
So
it would be what would be wrong with her fully acknowledging
yeah.
both her Indian heritage and her Jamaican heritage.
Yeah, I think that's what she's trying to make, fool the people right now, that oh, wherever, in India we have a saying, if you go to Gangaram, say I belong to Gangaram campaign, and if you go to Yamuna Ram, say I belong to Yamuna Ram campaign. Means wherever you go, you stick, oh, I'm your member, I'm your friend, I'm your that's what it is.
Well, I think that's where
The
she
proverb
went wrong.
says.
I think that's where she went wrong in trying to be everything to everybody. Okay. And then now what they're doing is they're calling her a chameleon. They're saying she's a chameleon
Yeah.
because in other words, whatever advances her, whatever she has to say at any given time, and this goes the same thing with policy, whatever policy position she has to take at any given time. Oh, okay. I'm this or I'm that or I'm this or that or that or that, depending on what day of the week it is and what best suits her needs.
Yeah. See, just on this context, I will give you, when she was running as 2020 presidential campaign, and later she dropped out. She was the first to drop out, right? Again, as a president campaign. And then she became the sweetheart of Biden campaign, right? After Obama interfered and said, okay, let's her
Right,
bring her back. And she became the, overnight, she was the sweetheart, right? She was the darling of the Democrat Party. But
right.
but Democrat Party was also very susceptible of her being the vice president. They said, okay, she tick marks some point. She's a leftist, good. She's a well connected because she's a former district attorney and state attorney general. Okay, she's telegenic. Okay, she's a woman of color, fantastic, and most importantly, they call him as a Gen Xer, right? That this it doesn't seems like she's trying too hard, and that has proven when she has done this. Illegal immigrant debacle, which America is going to pay for the centuries to come, not for
Oh,
a year or two, right? And at that time also, until today, a California problem is hanging on her head. The problem is based on her. So she was so intrigued, her prosecutional past and her identity politics. She crossed on all the three. At that time also, you remember, God bless her soul, Dan Feinstein, right? She was not on board with Joe Biden that Kamala will be her running mate. And she has openly said that.
yes.
Okay,
So
even though Obama and Biden was, they were spending 8 years, they have already spent 8 years when both were in the White House. Biden was his VP of Obama. They were skipping from California each mention for raising the funds and all the Hollywood royalties, whether it's Greg Garins, whether it's Jim White, whether it's Jeffrey. They have all rolled the red carpet for this middle class Joe Biden. But everybody knows the reality. How and he want her to promote gayism, which I think is okay. I'm not against anybody's sexuality, I will be honest, but everybody wants its own pie of cake, for this leftist, liberal, wokeism spreading woman.
it's identity politics, and since she had embraced identity politics, she had to declare herself of one group or the other.
Yes, exactly.
She had to pigeonhole herself. Um,
Exactly. You can't in another dharma, in our religion, we used to say, or Hindu religion, if you have to cross the river, you have to sit in one boat. If you try to sit in two boats, you are drawn in the river. You are not going to pass the river. Okay, so you have to choose
yeah,
which
sit that
boat
in
you
one
have.
boat or the other. She
Yeah.
couldn't put one foot in one boat, one foot in the other.
Yes.
Not in the Democrat River. No, it wasn't possible.
Even if you see the Chris Borick, who is the director of the Muhlenberg Institute of Public Opinion in Pennsylvania, you may know that institute. He has said that the very nature of the vice presidency of Kamala Harris presents a challenge in terms of connection with the public. And when you add intersection of Harris' gender identity, multiracial background, and California roots, it seems a big barrier to the broad public acceptance. I'm not
Well,
saying that.
we're about to find out. I mean, we're told that it isn't much of a barrier because we're told that she's pulled even in the polls, and in some polls she's even ahead. Do you believe these polls?
Okay, let's go back couple of months back. I'm talking of the polls. When French election was going on, Dan, right wing is winning, right wing will take over, right wing is winning. What the election results shows? Left wing. Okay. When European Union elections were going on, what they said, centrist, centrist, centrist. What happened? Equal, almost equal. Left got the same number of seats as centrist as well as the right. What Indian election shows is the largest democracy, right? Around a billion people voted for Modi.
Right.
They said Modi is going to get 400 seats. What he was stuck where? 240, approximately 60-65%. See, the polls are like this. If I go to a red city, people will say it's a red wave. If I go to a blue city, people say it's a blue state. And let's say blue wave, let's say I visited 5 red cities and 10 blue cities. What the poll will show? The blue is on the rise, the red is going down. Polls are polls. You are a journalist, you are a editor, right? How many people you interview when you do this? Minuscule.
Right. Well, but what they say, Ankush, is that this is a representative sample. So that if they're interviewing 1,200 people, those 1,200 people, they're different groups by age, race, um, whether the Democrats, Republicans, or independents, geography, and everything else, mirrors the whole. It is a microcosm of the whole.
Yeah,
But you are correct in that the sample size, the sample that they pick, and the size of the sample is very important in the accuracy of the poll. It
right.
portions the subgroups in the sample, and the size of the sample affect the accuracy of the poll. But they get around that by saying, they will say this poll has a 2 or 3 or 4% margin of error. What a lot of people don't understand is when they say it's a 3% margin of error, that's 3% either way. Either it could be 3% more than what we're saying or 3% less. So that's a 6% sway in there.
Deviation. Yeah, 6% deviation. 6% in a country like America, where almost you will have approximately 90 million votes. 6% is a huge number, sir.
It would be 6% of something like 330 million.
Yeah, but how much people are voting? Let's say that figure, right? Because it's the total population.
Oh,
Everybody is
no,
not
no,
voting.
that's right. It's how many people are voting.
Yeah.
It's not all 330 million people. Right. You're right. I don't know what the total number of votes that was cast in the last presidential
The
election.
total number of votes are approximately. I was looking at one of this. They said 80 million or something around 80 million. So 6% of 80 million is approximately 5 million votes, sir. 5
Oh,
million votes is not 500 votes.
well, 10% of 80 million would be
8 million.
8 million. Yeah.
And
Okay.
and it changes the dilemma altogether. It changes the shift altogether, right?
Oh,
You are
no, it
see,
can.
I can tell you 2021 election, gubernatorial election, the governor election in New Jersey.
Right.
We were in the Bridgewater. We were celebrating. Okay, this Jack Chitrali is
Citarelli.
winning. He's winning till 9:37. He came. He addressed us. He came with his wife Melinda. He addressed us, shake hand with everybody, that I am on the winning side. And all of a sudden, this is 9:37. All of a sudden, 10 o'clock, shh, Bergen votes came. He was leading by 100,000 approximately.
Yeah.
He trailed by 80,000. So it's very, I will not say it's wrong, but I say it's just an assumption,
Right.
because media also has to do some of their part to let the people know who is leading, right? And if you go with CNN, like President Trump say, you are a fake media, right? If you go with a fake media like CNN or ABC or MSBSN, right? These are just like the I'm sorry to use this word. They have become like the prostitutes of the media group. Okay, I give you this, you say this. Okay, sir, because they don't have left any journalism values anymore, journalist values anymore. So
No,
that's the big
the
problem.
media, it's a shame. In my lifetime, I've seen the media abandon all objectivity, all sense of objectivity. It's very, very sad. Now, I want to say, as you probably know, I've worked with the media all my life, being in public relations. This is my
Yes.
business. And so I've been close to the media all my life, and I've worked with the media all my life, and all of my professional life. And they have always, in this country, they have always been liberal. They've always been liberal. The difference now is they don't even pretend to hide it. For a long, long, long time, they were very careful about not revealing their bias. They were
Okay.
always biased.
Okay.
For a long time, they were very careful about not revealing their bias, and they
Mhm.
gave the appearance of
Okay.
objectivity. They gave
Mhm.
the appearance of objectivity. But what Donald Trump did, he broke a paramount rule of public relations, something that we teach in public relations.
Mhm.
It's one of the commandments of public relations, which is don't get into a fight with the media,
Okay.
because we always said don't get into a fight with people who buy ink by the barrelful.
Okay.
Don't get into a fight with people who have barrels and barrels of ink, because they will have the last word. Of course, this goes back to the print era, but it
Mhm.
still makes a bit of sense.
Yeah. Exactly.
Donald Trump
Exactly.
broke that rule. He broke that rule.
Yeah.
And he picked a fight with the media. And in so doing, he so provoked them that he smoked them out. And they had to come out for what they really are, which is dyed in the wool. 90% of them dyed in the wool liberals.
Yeah. Because see, as an now she has an Indian heritage, I will not be biased here, because for me the country is the first, right? And seeing this illegal, which is the main problem, the main issue with America, and see the problem we are facing. Lot of money, millions and billions and trillions of dollars has been wiped from our coffers to support the wars, to support this illegal, and see how the market is responding. It's crashing day by day, right? I will just want to let you know a press release from a governor, Greg Abbott of Texas.
Yes,
He
Greg
said that,
Abbott.
yeah, he said, let me put some excerpts from here, and it's very, very important for you and for the audience to listen this. Governor Abbott said, more than 3 years ago, I sent a letter to Vice President Harris. I implored the Vice President, in her capacity as President Biden's point person on illegal immigration, quote, border czar, to take swift action to address the nine urgent concerns including cracking down on human trafficking and preventing more children from being and abused, trafficked and abused as a result of border crisis. I also invited her in her capacity as a Porter Khazar to visit the border and see firsthand the crisis in a country under her leadership. She said that America returns tens of thousands of unaccompanied minors allowed to cross the border under Biden administration and child trafficking victims who has been left to endure unspeakable horrors.
And we all know what happened. Nothing.
Yep.
Nothing came of it.
He further stated 11 million illegal immigrants has entered our country, which is,
And Governor Abbott had to take the matter into his own hands as much as he
yes,
could.
yes. I went to New York Gala and he was one of the speaker there. And when he came on his wheelchair, he said, they think that I can't handle it. I put all these things into place. They think that I'm on a wheelchair and I can't do this. That's the wrong statement. I can do it. And
Mhm.
he did it.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Let
And
me.
nobody knows that. Give me just 10 more seconds. Nobody knows that people think, still American think, California is the richest state in America. It's not so far. It is Texas who has become the richest state in America now. Do you know that?
You're saying that Texas is?
Yes.
Uh
No
huh.
more California.
I'm not surprised. I didn't know it, but I'm not surprised. Texas
Yeah.
is a very, very rich state, a
And just give me
very
10 more,
successful
10,
state.
yeah, give me 10 more seconds. What he ended with, he said, among the illegal entries, I will speak it loud. Among those illegal entries, 383 known terrorists has been appended attempting to illegally cross.
I
Now you
know,
can well
and this
imagine the
morning
state.
and today there was another story about the people that were on the watch list that they let in here that they released into our country. The Biden Harris administration, people that were on the watch list.
And you see, every now and then people are being killed, whether it's the Jocelyn Nangwe, I don't know how to spell his name, who was the San Antonio police officer. He was killed by illegal immigrant. If you see the New York City, that cop was killed by the illegal immigrant. If you go to Georgia, you can see the medical student was killed by illegal immigrant. Means, what the heck is going in this country? Where are our law enforcement? Where are our army? Where is our government?
It's a very it's very it
It's
is
so
a
pathetic.
crisis situation. It's a major crisis. And meanwhile, we have people saying that they're voting for Kamala Harris because she had some entertainers performing at her rally, or she's on TikTok and she's got these clever spots on TikTok, and she's surrounding herself with celebrities, and she's new, she's beautiful looking, and on and on and on. When our country is in a state of crisis, we are in a state of crisis. And by the way, crisis is a mild word for what
Yes,
we're
it's very
facing.
mild word. We are in a state of war with ourselves.
Mhm, mhm. Well,
Okay.
Ankush, we have been at this for 50 minutes. I want to bring it to a close. It's always wonderful chatting with you. Please make sure you have this on your Facebook
I
page.
will do that.
I'm going to pin it to the top of my Facebook page. It's
Sure.
also on LinkedIn. It's at my on my YouTube channel. You can go to YouTube and you can look up Dan Cerrucci. It's on my YouTube channel. So hopefully, in the next several days and weeks, we'll have a lot more people watching it. I know you're going to promote it, and we'll get the message out, Ankush.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay?
Thank
It's
you so much again. And it was always nice chatting with you, and knowing your, as a journalist, how the things are, and how the things were, and how the things will be in future.
I think I'm more of an advocate than I am a journalist. But I appreciate, but I'm flattered that you should refer to me that way. But I don't make any pretense of being non-partial. I'm definitely an advocate for one particular point of view, and thank goodness it's a view that you and I share.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think most of the Americans should share that. The word is love for the country. That's all.
Well, we will soon find out whether or not they share it. Thank you, Ankush. It's always a
Thank,
pleasure.
thank you, sir. Good night.
Good night.
Bye bye.